In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, aboard the crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council's headquarters, Grand Minister Nyxus stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. Her silver scales shimmered under the starlight that filtered through the transparent dome above, while her ancient eyes carried the weight of countless centuries. "The Crixians must be stopped," she declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. "They mock our most sacred law, the protection of Earth." The assembled delegates murmured in agreement, their various forms shifting uncomfortably in their seats. For millennia, every spacefaring civilization had adhered to one fundamental rule: never interfere with Earth. High Commander Varric of the Crixian Empire stood at the opposite end of the chamber, his towering frame casting a shadow across the polished floor. His metallic armor, adorned with the crimson insignia of his empire, reflected the soft light of the chamber. "Your ancient warnings are nothing but superstition," he scoffed, mandibles clicking in derision. "Earth is a primitive world, barely capable of reaching their own moon. The Crixian Empire will not be bound by your outdated fears." The council chamber erupted in shocked whispers. No species had ever openly declared their intention to violate the Earth Protection Decree. Even the most aggressive civilizations respected the warning passed down through generations. "Disturb the humans at your own peril." Among the delegates sat observer Lysandra, her holographic form flickering slightly as she accessed the historical archives. As Earth's secret watcher for the past century, she knew what the others didn't. "High Commander," she spoke, her voice carrying an edge of concern, "perhaps you should review the classified records of why this law exists." Varric turned his attention to the holographic being, his 6 eyes narrowing. "I have seen your records, tales of human resilience, their capacity for warfare, their unpredictability, but these are stories from their primitive past. The Crixian Empire has conquered worlds far more advanced than Earth." Deep in the restricted archives of the Council lay the true reason for the warning. Humanity had been tested once before, thousands of years ago, by a now-extinct civilization. The results had been catastrophic. The humans, despite their technological inferiority, had not only survived, but had reverse-engineered the invaders' weapons and turned them against their creators. The species that had attempted to conquer Earth had been completely wiped out within a decade. But Varric and his empire remained unconvinced. The Crixians had spent years secretly observing Earth, watching their political divisions, their environmental struggles, their seemingly chaotic society. They saw what they wanted to see, a vulnerable world ripe for conquest. In their arrogance, they missed the signs. They didn't notice how humans adapted to every challenge, how they turned their weaknesses into strengths, how their divisions vanished in the face of external threats. They failed to recognize that Earth's apparent technological backwardness was merely a facade. As the council meeting concluded without resolution, Grand Minister Nyxus approached observer Lysandra privately. "They're really going to do it, aren't they?" Lysandra asked, her holographic form displaying concern. Nyxus nodded solemnly. "The Crixians have already mobilized their invasion fleet, 5,000 warships gathering at the edge of their territory." She paused, her ancient eyes reflecting the stars above. "They believe they're preparing to conquer Earth. In reality, they're about to awaken something they don't understand." Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Crixian invasion fleet assembled. Their massive ships, each the size of a small city, formed a terrifying armada. High Commander Varric stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Destiny, watching as more ships arrived through hyperspace. "My lord," his second-in-command, War Master Thex, approached with a data crystal. "Our final intelligence report on Earth's defensive capabilities." The report detailed Earth's conventional military forces, their satellite networks, their nuclear arsenals, everything the Crixians could detect from their long-range observations. What the report couldn't show, what no outside observer had ever detected, was the truth about Earth's preparedness. Deep beneath the planet's surface, in hidden facilities scattered across every continent, humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. The Crixian fleet began its journey toward Earth, their ships moving in perfect formation through the void. High Commander Varric felt only confidence as he gave the order to proceed. His empire had never failed to conquer a world they set their sights on. Earth would be no different. But as their fleet crossed the halfway point to their target, observer Lysandra sent one final message to the Crixian command. "You were warned." The message was dismissed, logged away with all the other cautions and threats they had ignored. The Crixians were about to learn why the galaxy's oldest civilizations feared humanity. They were about to discover that Earth's apparent primitive state was a carefully maintained illusion. Most importantly, they were about to understand why the first rule of galactic civilization had always been, never disturb the humans. 3 kilometers beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Marcus Blackwood stood in the heart of Earth's most secure military installation. The Global Defense Command Center hummed with activity as personnel monitored an array of holographic displays showing the approaching Crixian fleet. "Time to drop the mask," Blackwood announced, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the tactical displays. For decades, humanity had maintained an elaborate deception, presenting themselves as a technologically primitive species still dependent on fossil fuels and chemical rockets. Director Evelyn Reeves of the Quantum Defense Division approached with a tablet displaying real-time data from their deep space sensors. "The Crixians have passed Mars orbit," she reported, her dark eyes focused on the streams of incoming data. "Their fleet formation suggests they're expecting minimal resistance." Blackwood allowed himself a slight smile. The Crixians, like every other alien species that had observed Earth, had fallen for humanity's greatest deception. What appeared to be normal satellites in Earth's orbit were actually advanced weapon platforms. Those primitive space stations were cutting-edge military installations. Even Earth's commercial spacecraft contained hidden military capabilities. In a secure chamber adjacent to the command center, Dr. Victor Rodriguez made final adjustments to the quantum shield matrix. His team had spent the last 15 years perfecting the technology, disguising their tests as natural phenomena or technological glitches to maintain the illusion of Earth's technological level. "All defense grids are operational," Rodriguez announced through the comm system. "The quantum shields can be activated at a moment's notice." His voice carried the pride of someone who had dedicated their life to preparing for this very moment. Throughout the facility, specialized teams monitored different aspects of Earth's defense network. Captain Jennifer Chen coordinated with submarine fleets hidden in the world's oceans, each vessel equipped with technology far beyond what any alien observer had detected. Major David Akanjo supervised the global network of particle beam installations disguised as radio telescopes. "Status report," Blackwood commanded, his voice carrying across the command center. The responses came quickly from different stations. "Orbital defense platforms armed and ready. Quantum shield generators at full capacity. Ground-based counter-invasion forces on standby. Solar system early warning network active." The Admiral nodded in satisfaction. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, ever since they had recovered and reverse-engineered technology from a crashed alien ship in 1947. That incident had revealed the truth. Earth was not alone, and it needed to be ready. In the decades that followed, the world's governments had secretly united under the Global Defense Initiative. While maintaining the appearance of political division and technological limitation, they had built an advanced military force capable of defending against any extraterrestrial threat. Director Reeves pulled up another holographic display showing the Crixian fleet's composition. "Their ships are impressive," she admitted, studying the data. "But they've built them to fight a primitive enemy. They have no idea what they're actually facing." The Crixians' confidence was their weakness. They expected to find a planet defended by chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. Instead, they would face quantum shields, gravitic weapons, and ships capable of matching their most advanced vessels. "Signal from the lunar base," announced Lieutenant Omar Hassan from his monitoring station. "The hidden fleet is ready for deployment." Beneath the surface of the moon, in massive underground hangars, Earth's true military vessels waited. These ships, built with technology that would shock even the most advanced alien civilizations, represented humanity's real space force. Admiral Blackwood moved to the central command platform, his presence drawing the attention of every officer in the room. "For generations, we've hidden our true capabilities," he began, his voice steady and determined. "We've let them think we were primitive, divided, vulnerable, but humanity has never been weak. We've been patient, preparing, advancing in secret." The massive screens showed the Crixian fleet continuing its approach, still unaware of what awaited them. Earth's apparent vulnerability was about to become their undoing. The invasion force expected to find an easy target. Instead, they would encounter a civilization that had spent decades preparing specifically for this moment. "Begin Operation Revelation," Blackwood ordered. Across the solar system, hidden sensors and weapons platforms came to life. On Earth, concealed military installations emerged from their camouflage. In orbit, satellites transformed, revealing their true nature as defensive platforms. The Crixians had ignored the universe's warning about humanity. They had dismissed the fears of older, wiser civilizations as superstition. Now they would learn why Earth had been left alone for so long. They would discover that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons, but their capacity to unite and adapt in the face of external threats. As the command center personnel continued their preparations, Dr. Rodriguez's voice came through the comm system once more. "Admiral, the quantum shield grid is showing some unusual readings. The Crixian fleet's approach might be affecting the barrier more than we anticipated." Blackwood turned to Director Reeves. "Analysis." She studied the data for a moment before responding. "Their ships are generating some form of energy field we haven't encountered before. It's not necessarily dangerous, but we should monitor it closely." The Admiral nodded. This was exactly why humanity had spent so long preparing. There would always be unknowns in any conflict. But they had built their defenses to be adaptable, just like humanity itself. "Maintain current status," he ordered. "Let them come a bit closer. Let them think their approach is undetected." He turned to face the massive tactical display, watching as the red dots representing the Crixian fleet drew ever nearer to Earth. They wanted to test humanity. Well, they're about to get their wish. High Commander Varric stood triumphantly on the bridge of the Crimson Destiny as his fleet approached Earth's orbit. The blue planet hung before them, seemingly defenseless. Only a scattered collection of primitive satellites and a single space station marked humanity's presence in space. "Begin the first phase," Varric commanded. "Clear their orbital space of that primitive debris." War Master Thex relayed the order, and a dozen Crixian destroyers moved forward, charging their energy weapons. The first shot never fired. In an instant, the primitive satellites transformed. Panels shifted, weapons emerged, and before the Crixian ships could react, a web of quantum energy beams connected the orbital platforms. The energy net caught the advancing destroyers, their shields failing against weapons they weren't designed to resist. "Impossible," Thex shouted, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "Their technology, this can't be." Aboard the Global Defense Command Center, Admiral Blackwood watched the Crixians' confusion with grim satisfaction. "Signal the lunar fleet," he ordered. "Operation Revelation continues as planned." The surface of the moon rippled as massive hangar doors opened, revealing Earth's true military might. Sleek warships, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen, emerged from their hidden bases. Leading the fleet was the EFS Humanity's Dawn, commanded by Fleet Captain Naomi Winters. "All ships combat formation Delta," Winters commanded, her voice calm despite the historic moment. "Remember your training. Today we show them why Earth was never weak. We were just waiting." The Crixian fleet reeled as hundreds of Earth vessels appeared seemingly from nowhere. Their sensors, calibrated to detect known technology, struggled to lock onto ships built with principles they had never encountered. High Commander Varric recovered quickly from his shock. "So the humans have been deceiving us. No matter, we still outnumber them 5-1, all ships battle formations. Show these primitives the might of the Crixian Empire." The space between Earth and the moon erupted in combat. Crixian energy beams sliced through the void, met by quantum torpedoes and gravitic pulses from Earth's ships. The human vessels moved with impossible agility, their maneuvers defying conventional space combat tactics. In the command center, Director Reeves monitored the battle dynamics. "The Crixians are adapting quickly," she reported. "They're already attempting to analyze our weapon signatures." "Good," Blackwood responded. "Time for the second surprise. Dr. Rodriguez, activate the metamorphic protocols." Throughout the battle, Earth ships began to change. Their hull configurations shifted, weapons systems rotated and transformed, presenting constantly changing targets to the enemy. The Crixians found themselves fighting an opponent that literally transformed mid-battle. Captain Winters led her squadron through the heart of the Crixian formation. "Target their command and control nodes," she ordered. "Don't let them coordinate their responses." The EFS Humanity's Dawn executed a maneuver that should have torn any ship apart, its hull flowing like liquid metal as it evaded a barrage of Crixian fire. The ship's quantum cannons fired in rapid succession, each shot passing through the enemy's shields as if they didn't exist. On the Crimson Destiny, Varric watched in growing horror as his fleet's advantages crumbled. "How?" he demanded. "How could they have hidden this level of technology?" Observer Lysandra's final warning echoed in his mind. "You were warned." Now he understood. The humans hadn't been primitive, they had been preparing, advancing, waiting for someone to make exactly this mistake. "My lord," Thex reported, his voice shaking. "We're detecting energy signatures from the planet's surface. They're unlike anything in our database." Ground-based defense installations activated worldwide. Massive particle accelerators, disguised as scientific facilities, powered up. The quantum shield grid, hidden within Earth's magnetic field, began to pulse with energy. Major Akanjo coordinated the ground-based response. "All surface installations, prepare for synchronized barrage. Target pattern Omega-6. The ground-based weapons had never been fired at full power. Their true capability had been another secret kept for this moment. The Crixian fleet found itself caught between the hammer of Earth's space forces and the anvil of its planetary defenses. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds found themselves outmaneuvered by an enemy they had gravely underestimated. Lieutenant Hassan's voice cut through the command center. "Admiral, the Crixians are attempting to regroup. They're pulling their forces back, trying to establish a defensive perimeter." "Not this time," Blackwood declared. "They came to our home, they threatened our planet, show them no quarter. Captain Winters, execute Operation Thunderbolt." The Earth fleet's formation shifted, taking advantage of their metamorphic technology to create a three-dimensional attack pattern that the Crixians couldn't counter. Captain Winters led the charge, her ship transforming into its assault configuration. "For Earth," she broadcast to her fleet, "show them why the galaxy feared us, show them why they should have heeded the warning." The battle continued to rage across near-Earth space, but the outcome was becoming clear. The Crixians had brought overwhelming force to conquer what they thought was a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a giant that had spent generations preparing for exactly this moment. As his fleet began to crumble, High Commander Varric faced a terrible realization. The stories weren't myths. The warnings weren't superstition. Humanity hadn't been weak, they had been waiting, preparing, advancing in secret. And now, his empire would pay the price for ignoring the universe's oldest warning. The void of space blazed with the light of battle as the Crixian fleet struggled against Earth's devastating counterattack. High Commander Varric, his pride shattered but his resolve intact, issued emergency orders from the bridge of the Crimson Destiny. "Launch the Worldbreaker protocols," he commanded, his voice carrying the edge of desperation. Across his fleet, massive ships began to unfold, revealing planet-killing weapons that had ended civilizations. "If we cannot have Earth, no one will." In the Global Defense Command Center, Admiral Blackwood watched the Crixian ships transform. "They're desperate now," he noted, turning to Director Reeves. "Time to show them our final card." "Initiating Project Phoenix," Reeves announced, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations activated. The asteroid belt stirred to life as mining stations revealed themselves as weapon platforms. The surface of Mars rippled as concealed bases emerged from the red sand. Captain Winters aboard the Humanity's Dawn received new tactical data. "They really did plan for everything," she whispered, studying the deployment orders. Her ship's quantum engines hummed as they prepared for the next phase. The Crixian world-breaker weapons powered up, their energy signatures causing space itself to distort. But before they could fire, the hidden installations throughout the solar system responded. Quantum beams lanced out from Mars, the asteroid belt, and even the moons of Jupiter, creating a complex web of energy that trapped the Crixian ships. "Impossible," War Master Thex exclaimed. "They've militarized the entire solar system." Dr. Rodriguez's voice came through the command center's communications. "Quantum matrix stable, Admiral. The trap is ready." "Humanity has never been alone," Admiral Blackwood broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring the Crixian fleet could hear. "We've had help, guidance, warnings from those who came before. The universe told you not to disturb us, but you didn't listen. Now witness why." The quantum web tightened, its energy patterns shifting in ways that defied conventional physics. The Crixian ships found their advanced technology failing, their weapons powerless against principles of science they had never encountered. Major Akanjo coordinated with the solar system installations. All platforms synchronized, ready for the Helios protocol. Across Earth's fleet, ships began to link their quantum fields, creating a unified defense network that spanned the solar system. Captain Winters led her squadron through a series of maneuvers that seemed to bend reality itself, their ships moving in patterns that should have been impossible. High Commander Varric watched in horror as his mighty fleet was systematically dismantled. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were demonstrating levels of technological advancement that rivaled the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. "Remember," Blackwood's voice continued, "we didn't develop this technology for conquest. We built it for defense. Each advancement, each innovation was created to protect our home. You forced our hand. You made us reveal what we've become." The Helios protocol activated. Energy collected from the sun itself, channeled through quantum corridors hidden within space-time, surged through Earth's defense network. The Crixian fleet's advanced shields, their pride and protection, proved useless against weapons based on physics they had never imagined. "Final warning," Captain Winters broadcast. "Surrender now or witness the full extent of humanity's resolve." In the command center, Lieutenant Hassan monitored the battle data. "Sir, we're detecting quantum fluctuations from the enemy fleet. They're trying to adapt their shields." "Too late for that," Director Reeves responded. "They're fighting against scientific principles they don't even understand." The Crixian fleet's formation began to break. Ships attempted to retreat, only to find their hyperspace engines ineffective within the quantum web. Earth's defense network had trapped them in normal space, forcing them to face the consequences of their arrogance. "My lord," Thex reported to Varric, "we're losing ships faster than we can adapt. Their technology, it's beyond anything we've encountered." Varric stood silent on his bridge, watching his mighty fleet crumble before what he had dismissed as a primitive species. The humans hadn't just prepared for war, they had revolutionized the very principles of space combat. Admiral Blackwood gave the final order. "All units, execute containment protocol, show them the price of threatening Earth." The combined Earth fleet moved with perfect coordination, their metamorphic ships flowing through space like liquid metal. The quantum web contracted, herding the remaining Crixian vessels into a killing zone. Captain Winters led the final assault, her ships demonstrating combat maneuvers that would be studied for generations to come. As the battle reached its climax, the truth became clear to all who witnessed it. Humanity had never been primitive. Their apparent technological limitations had been a carefully crafted deception. They had spent generations preparing for this moment, advancing in secret, waiting for someone to make the mistake of testing their resolve. The Crixian fleet, once mighty and proud, now faced the full consequences of ignoring the universe's warning. They had come expecting to find an easy conquest. Instead, They had awakened a giant that had been preparing for war since before their empire existed. In the aftermath of the battle, the remains of the Crixian fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by Earth's transformed defense network. High Commander Varric stood on the bridge of the Crimson Destiny, watching as human ships approached his crippled flagship. "By the authority of Earth's Global Defense Command, you are ordered to surrender," Captain Winter's voice echoed through every surviving Crixian vessel. "Your fleet is defeated. Your weapons are neutralized. It's over." In the Global Defense Command Center, Admiral Blackwood observed the surrender proceedings with Director Reeves and his command staff. The holographic displays showed the full extent of the battle's outcome, a decisive victory that would reshape galactic politics forever. "Signal from the Galactic Council, sir," Lieutenant Hassan reported. "Grand Minister Nyxis requests immediate communication." The Grand Minister's holographic form materialized in the command center, her ancient eyes taking in the scene with a mixture of awe and satisfaction. "It seems the warnings were true after all," she said, addressing Blackwood. "Though I suspect even we didn't know the full extent of humanity's capabilities." "We never wanted this revelation," Blackwood responded, his voice firm but diplomatic. "Earth has always preferred peace, but we've also always been ready for war." Throughout the solar system, Earth's hidden infrastructure began to power down. The quantum web dissipated, though the defense networks remained vigilant. Dr. Rodriguez and his team monitored the deactivation process, ensuring their advanced technology remained stable as it returned to its dormant state. "The Crixian Empire's remnants are already suing for peace," Nyxis informed them. "Their colony worlds are in chaos. No one expected." She paused, searching for words. "This level of defensive capability." On the humanity's dawn, Captain Winters supervised the surrender of the Crixian command staff. High Commander Varric and War Master Thex were escorted to a secure holding area, their once proud demeanor replaced by shocked silence. "Why maintain the deception?" Thex finally asked as they were led through the ship's metamorphic corridors. "Why hide all this power?" "Because true strength isn't about showing power," Winters replied. "It's about knowing when not to use it. We advanced in secret not out of fear but out of wisdom. We didn't want to participate in galactic politics or power struggles. We simply wanted to be left alone." In orbit around Earth, the combined fleet had begun recovery operations. The quantum technology that had seemed like magic to the Crixians was revealed to be just the surface of humanity's achievements. Earth ships rendered aid to damaged Crixian vessels, demonstrating that their advanced technology could heal as effectively as it could destroy. Director Reeves approached Admiral Blackwood with updated reports. "The Galactic Council is calling for an emergency session. They want Earth to take a more active role in galactic affairs now that our true capabilities are known." "They fear us now more than ever," Blackwood observed, studying the incoming diplomatic messages. "Not because of what we did, but because of what we chose not to do for all these years." The news of Earth's victory spread rapidly across the galaxy. The story of how a supposedly primitive world had completely outmaneuvered one of the most powerful empires became instant legend. But it wasn't just the military victory that caught the galaxy's attention. It was the revelation of how long humanity had maintained their deception. "We've received messages from 17 different worlds," Major Akanjo reported. "They're requesting diplomatic relations and technology exchange programs." "Deny them all," Blackwood ordered. "Politely. We didn't reveal our capabilities to make friends or influence politics. We did it because we were forced to defend our home." Grand Minister Nyxis nodded in approval. "And that, Admiral, is exactly why the ancient warnings existed. Not because humanity was dangerous, but because humanity was wise enough to understand the responsibility of power." In the days that followed, Earth began the process of reestablishing its carefully maintained isolation. The quantum shields were reset, the metamorphic ships returned to their hidden bases, and the solar system's defense network resumed its dormant state. But things would never be quite the same. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's true face, and the old warning took on new meaning. Don't disturb the humans, not because they were weak, but because they had chosen peace despite possessing the power for total war. "What happens now?" Captain Winters asked during the final debriefing. Admiral Blackwood looked out at the Earth through the command center's windows, its surface peaceful despite the recent conflict. "We return to our quiet vigilance. We continue to advance, to prepare, to protect. But now we do it with the galaxy's understanding rather than their ignorance." In the end, the Crixian invasion had changed everything and nothing. Humanity's secret was revealed, but their fundamental nature remained the same. They were builders, innovators, defenders, a species that had chosen to hide their strength rather than display it. As the last Crixian ships were escorted from the solar system, Grand Minister Nyxus made one final observation to the Galactic Assembly. "The humans never needed our protection. The warning wasn't for their sake, it was for ours. They showed us today that peace is a choice made by the strong, not a limitation accepted by the weak." The universe had learned its lesson. Earth would be left alone, not out of fear, but out of respect for a civilization that had mastered not just advanced technology, but the wisdom to know when not to use it. The humans had revealed their true nature, and in doing so had changed the galaxy's understanding of what it meant to be truly advanced.